If you are going to take your WA1 Emath exam in the next few weeks, watch this video because I have 2 tips for you on time management to make sure that you finish the paper fast and correct. So the first tip is to actually break down the number of marks into the amount of time that you can allocate to each mark. So typically for a WA1 paper, you would have 30 marks allocated to the paper, and usually they will allocate you 45 minutes. So if you do a simple division, we actually get that each mark you have 1.5 minutes per mark, because if you have 45 minutes per 30 marks and then you have 1 mark, it's just simple math, right? You just divide by 30 and here you end up with 1.5 minutes per mark. So with this time allocation of 1.5 minutes per mark, before you do the paper itself, see the entire question. How many marks is the entire question worth? And then before you start doing the question, make sure that you plan out the time that you actually are going to allocate to yourself. Because what happens with a lot of students is that when they get stuck at the question, they refuse to move on, right? And they stay on the question and overcommit to that question. And as a result, the later questions behind, they don't have enough time for it. So realistically, you need to know how much time you should be allocating to each question so as to not jeopardize the other questions. Now, with this one tip over here, the second tip that I have for you would be, let's say a question is 5 marks, right? So with 5 marks over here, you end up with 5 times 1.5 minutes to allocate to it, and you end up with 7.5 minutes to actually do the entire question. Now, when I say do the entire question, what does that actually comprise of? It comprises of 3 stages, right? Number 1 is you read and plan how to tackle the question. And then secondly is you actually do the question. And lastly, you actually check your answers. Now, this portion over here, when you read and plan, you can actually cut down the amount of time that you spend over here by doing a lot more practices in your free time right now leading up to your exam. And that's simply because in math, most questions are just repeats of each other, right? The sentence structure, the type of words they use, and how the question is usually being phrased is more or less the same every single time. So when you do more questions, you do more volume work, naturally you will be able to pick up the question type a lot faster. And that's something that I actually go through in my library of Emath Academy that I'll share with you in a bit. But essentially, the more practice you do, this time will cut down. And then next, obviously, is doing the question. And you can actually cut down the amount of time that you spend doing the question when you are more confident when you do it. And how you get more confident is by actually having more practice. And lastly, and this is the part that everyone always misses out, is to check your work. You have to always check your values. Even as much confident as you are, you must always check, because we are definitely prone to human errors. Even I myself make careless mistakes over here time to time. So you must always check your work to make sure that every mark that you are fighting for, you get it. And as I mentioned earlier, in order for you to cut down the amount of time that you spend on these 2 portions, reading, planning, and doing, you just need to have a lot of practice, a lot of volume in a very structured way. And that's exactly what I provide in my library of Emath Academy, where I have consolidated question types for every single topic, and I filmed video solutions for every single question type so that you can get a hands-on guided approach in your revision. And if you want to get information of how the library works and actually see how it works, just WhatsApp this number over here. I'll send you a demo link as well as an info kit to explain to you exactly how the library works and all the other services that we provide to all of our library subscribers. Do it before your WA1, and I promise you, you will not regret signing up for the library. For more information, WhatsApp here and I'll send you the details.